Hello everyone. The second lesson in the English grammar series, I wanted to draw your attention to the fact that language has many uses, not just communication. It can express things in various ways, right? And that is what literature mainly uses. For example, the poem that I am going to use today is the same as the one last week, Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep, because the two different varieties of literal language and figurative language is beautifully expressed in this poem. So what is the difference between literal language and figurative language? Before that, why is it important that we talk about this even at the very first, at the beginning of a basic language program? The reason is this, and this, if any English teacher is listening, I hope they are. You also might have some ideas about it. When we teach a different language to adults, we tend to teach very prosaic, very basic things simply because that is easily understood, and we leave out the beauty half the time. Because the beauty or the nuance, the little things about language, we somehow don't try to teach at the beginning. But one thing that I found when I taught I am still teaching at the University of Sri Jayewardenepura is you don't really have to know a language very well to appreciate beauty. Because even with the basic learners, we did introduce literature. We did introduce poetry, and their responses were so immediate, and they immediately caught on to the beauty of the language. And I will never forget this, where one of my weaker students, we had little times allocated for everyone to give a speech. Within the week, everyone spoke. We did this small poem, and she managed to make it her own. She took the structure and made it valid to her own life and gave back a poem. This is not a good language learner. I'm sorry, it's not a good proficient language user, but she was an extremely good learner and knew how to make the poem hers. So I always feel it's such a pity to keep English poetry, English literature separately for English department students only, because it is possible for many people whose English may not be of a standard to go into an English department can still relate to beauty, can still relate to poetry, and therefore, especially when you're teaching adults, see whether we can teach them the different forms of language, like literal language and figurative language, and teach them also how to use figurative language to express themselves. Because they will, I think, if my experience is anything to go by, it's possible for them to do so. Right? Okay, so what is literal language? Is when you say exactly what you want to say in very basic terms. For example, I am a teacher. Right? My mother is a teacher. Basic. There's nothing added on to what that sentence means. Figurative language is you're saying something in a very poetic way which should not be taken as real facts, but should be taken for what they are trying to mean. For example, if I say my mother is a teacher, and then I say my mother is my life, do you see the difference? My mother is a teacher is a fact. But if I say my mother is my life, then I am saying my mother is very important for me. Because normally life is very important for me. So you made it a metaphor. I'll do metaphors and simile again different at a different level. But my mother is my life, or my child is my life. My children are my life. That's figurative language. Figurative, not literal. Because no one can be my life. My life is what, the breathing, the life I have. But the moment you say my children are my life, you give the meaning the person who is listening to me will understand. Yes, the children are extremely important to her, as much as her life, right? So figurative also communicates something, but not directly, in indirect fashion, right? And this is the power of language. This is very powerfully you can use this kind of difference to say what you mean, which makes you also powerful use of the language. So this poem, right throughout, is figurative. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. Okay, literally, if somebody is dead, she actually is in the grave. The body is in the grave. But she starts by saying, I am not there. So immediately the register moves into something else. She's not quite saying what is objectively true. She's giving a figurative interpretation to the whole thing. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I mean, I am dead. I am a woman. No, I am 1,000 winds that blow. She feels so powerful. She feels after death that she is everywhere. So the 1,000 winds that blow on earth is me. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am. She is not the diamond glint. She cannot technically, objectively be the shining thing. But figuratively she can be. She's actually saying everything beautiful in the world, I am, because she's gone to the earth and the earth creates this beauty. That's figurative language, right? So, I am the sunlight on ripened grain. It goes on. I will ask you for homework, for your exercises, to list what this is. And you can answer at home. Check your answers on my Facebook page or the comment section. Because I did promise you, when I did this in English only, I'll be giving you exercises and also giving you answers either on FB, on my Facebook education page, or the comment section here. So please do answer. Now, as a language teacher, another wonderful thing that you can do is from the very beginning. Now, this is just a second class. You can train people in giving figurative answers. For example, my exercise to you is write 10 sentences about yourself using am. We'll do the be verb in next week. Using am, for example, I would say I am a student. I am a woman. I am a mother. These are literal meanings, right? Literally 5 things. And give me 5 things about you in figurative language. That you can use your imagination. I mean, there are famous overused ones, like for example, I am the apple of my parents' eye. I am the apple of my parents' eye. That, it's a figurative. If you are very important to your parents, you can say that. The apple of the eye is the pupil, which is very important. We see the world through that. Okay, so that's figurative language. I want you to try and give me 5 sentences using a figurative phrase to describe yourself. Actually, there is no right and wrong. It depends on your imagination, right? That's poetic use. So it will be difficult to actually correct that because there is no right and wrong for that. But the exercise is important because you will understand that language has so much more than meaning words, meaning words, meaning words. How you use it, where you use it, right? There are places where, for example, if you go for a job interview and somebody says like, who are you? Please don't use figurative language because that's not going to work. They are saying like, who are you? I'm for example, I would say I'm 53 years old. I'm an English teacher. Describe it factually. But if you're writing some creative writing thing, please use figurative language. So every language is of different varieties. You can't have one variety fitting all the context. You can't. You have to be aware of how the different languages are used. The varieties are used. And for that, you read a lot, just like in Sinhala. Sinhala also has different varieties. It depends on where you use it, right? So today my lesson is using the same poem that I did last week, is on figurative and literal language. And in English, we use it very often, figurative language. For example, if I drop something a plate, I can say butterfingers. That is, my fingers were not so slippery that things fall. Butterfingers, right? So you can type on the internet and see what are the figurative ways of saying this, right? Because even basic language, when you're learning, if you understand that language has enormous power, that it can be used in various ways, it will help you. So I will give you some exercises and do try and answer your own way. And I will put some similar answers in my Facebook page and all that, so that you will try to see how this goes. I will also ask you this question. This poem is about death. But is it a sad poem or a happy poem? Right? And that you'll only know because of the figurative things she has used. It's because of what she tried to say indirectly that you'll try to find that answer. Is it a sad poem or a happy poem? Right? And let's see whether you, even as learners, whether you can read that level as well. And I would like to finish this program on literal and figurative language with a beautiful song which will make you further understand what I meant, because it's a very well-known song. It's called You Are My Sunshine. It was sung long ago by Johnny Cash and then sung by many others afterwards. I'll probably put a cover. A cover is something that someone else had done from the old song, which uses as the chorus a very famous sentence, "You are my sunshine." So that's figurative use, because no, sunshine is up there what the sun gives. But when you say you are my sunshine, it means that you are the brightness of my world. And I also want you to be aware how this can change according to context. Now, we would not say someone is a Hiru Elia, because we are living in a very hot country, and sometimes the Hiru Elia, the sunshine, can be quite hot. It won't be a blessed thing all the time, right? But in Western countries, the West is where this song came from, sunshine can be very rare because they have 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, winter. So autumn and winter, sunshine is a very precious commodity. So when you say you are my sunshine, sunshine is almost always positive. While in our countries, I don't think we'll say you're my Hiru Elia. We might say you're my Alokya. Elia, Alokya is positive, but not necessarily Hiru Elia. So the figurative language also can easily change according to your cultural context, right? So what is precious or what is valued in one part of the world isn't necessarily valued in all parts of the world. This is quite obvious when it comes to adjectives. In my lesson on adjectives, we'll speak about that. So I will leave this program by leaving you with this song. As usual, please go down to YouTube, go down to my comment section, or go to my Facebook page where I will post this song, the version I like. There are many versions, beautiful versions. You can, watch whatever you like. Listen to that and come back to this. I will just read the words and leave you. It's a song by Johnny Cash, and it's called You Are My Sunshine. I'll just read it through. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. But when I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and I cried. So it's a love song of somebody being alone after he or she loses a lover, right? So he says, the other night when I was sleeping, I dreamed of you. And I dreamed that I was holding you. But because when I awoke and I was alone, I just cried. And now this is the chorus, which uses figurative language. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. Now, when skies are grey has a literal meaning. When there's going to be rain, skies can actually turn grey. But here it's a figurative meaning. When skies are grey means when life is sad. When life is not sunny and happy. Figurative language there. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. So he's actually begging her not to go or to return. He says, please don't take my sunshine away. No one can do that. No one can literally take anybody's sunshine away unless, you can lock someone up in a room. But here he means don't take away the light in my life. Figurative language. So if you have to write love poetry or something, please learn these styles because it's much more effective than using literal language. I'll always love you and make you happy, and if you will only say the same, please return my feelings. But if you leave me and love another, you'll regret it all someday. Little bit of a threat there. He says, please, if you love me as much as I love you, right, I will always make you happy. But if you leave me, he says, you're probably going to be sad. There's a little bit of threat there, which you can take it in any way. So the chorus comes again, you are my sunshine. Then the last verse, you told me once, dear, you really loved me. He said, there was a time when you said you really loved me, and no one else could come between. He says, no one else could come between the two of us to break this partnership. But now you've left me and love another. So obviously the girl or the boy has left the partner and started to love another. You have shattered all of my dreams. Now that is also a metaphor. That is also figurative language, because you normally shatter some object. If you drop a plate, the plate shatters, right? But a dream is something you can't touch. So when you say you shattered all my dreams, that is also figurative language. In fact, if you go deep into literary theory, all language is metaphor. Let's not go there. Let's just take it at a very superficial level. You shattered all of my dreams is also figurative language, because shatter means a physical thing breaking into pieces, right? Please look at this, listen to the song, and while you absorb the beauty of it, you might understand a little bit more about figurative and literal language. And in my next lesson, I'll use the poem which started this lesson to talk about the be verb as the main verb. See you then.